Welcome to another edition of Success Talk. I'm Deborah Shariff, and I have with me Kathleen Taylor, who is the manager of the marketing. And here we go again, the manager of the marketing of the program and the coordination of the Nevada Women's Business Center. Thank you so much. I'm sorry I screwed up. It's a brand new title, so forgive
Yes.
me.
Thank you so much. It's fantastic to be back again, and so delighted that that the audience was really receptive to our conversation. So thank you so much, Deborah, for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome, and it's my pleasure. There was so much valuable information that we want to revisit. And, again, welcome back.
Thank
So,
you. Good to be back.
so I want to jump right into it and really talk about your organization and how it supports either women who have an idea for a business, just starting a business, they have an existing business. How does
Sure.
your organization actually support them and what their endeavors and what they are interested in doing?
Oh, absolutely. So I like to kind of compare it to we take a person from an acorn, and then we plant that seed into a fertile ground of resources and development, and then we just basically help it grow and prosper into this magnificent oak tree, so to speak, and just help it with its sustainability. So looking at it from a business model perspective, that's exactly what we do. We have clients that literally contact us and say, you know what, I have this hobby that I've been doing, like photography, for example, and people really like my work. Just wondering if you think it's a good business idea. And so we just basically help them develop that hobby into a legitimate business model and create the infrastructure for that. There are people that have gone beyond the 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 hobby or the idea, and they actually have like a side hustle going, and it's doing well, and then they would like to scale it into a more sustainable business, and we help them with their growth and development. And we also have clients who already are established in their particular sector or industry, and they just need additional resources for them to then scale in order to sustain themselves in the marketplace. So those are different scenarios on how we can help people at different stages of development.
That is really fantastic. And, I do know that how I found you was through
Mhm.
SCORE.
Yes, that is great.
Yes, and that is another great organization of
Mhm.
volunteer
Yeah.
businessmen and women who have been in business who are interested in helping others.
Yeah.
So that is a great organization as well. And the question I have for you is what is the ideal, because I don't know how long that um for example, one of your incentives, which is Dream Builder, which we're going to talk about in a minute, but
Sure.
I just want to find out what is the sort of average inquiry that you receive from women in terms of help and support?
Okay. This is what's interesting. So if we look at the statistics of men business owners that are owned by individuals that identify themselves as male, and also individuals that identify themselves as women biologically, we get the majority of our inquiries are from women seeking funding for their business. However, when you look at the statistics nationally, although that's our um, the majority of our request for is funding for their business, statistically, male business owners, they access capital more, they apply for business funding more than women. So even though we're asking, when it comes down to actually applying to get a small business loan, male entrepreneurs are outpacing women entrepreneurs. And what's really compelling is women entrepreneurs, specifically the solopreneur, the side hustlepreneur, that is the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs, and they're women. So, so even though our numbers are higher in small business ownership overall, and specifically for our center in Nevada, the majority of our requests from women or funding for their business on the national scale, when it comes to to applying to get that money, men outpace women in that area. I find that very compelling.
Wow.
Yeah,
I find it compelling too.
yeah,
And once when I think about someone or someone who's using your services that is actually, so I'm going to write that business plan. I'm so excited that I have a support system. What are some of the fundamental problems or challenges that
mhm,
some of the women and men, because I know men use your support system as well. What do
sure.
they encounter and how is it resolved?
Well, from a technical standpoint, if there's any type of issues or challenges they have in accessing the program, they can't get their content or it's not downloading properly, we immediately connect them to our IT support team, and they're on the back end to help with those technical difficulties platform. Other than that, if someone gets stuck along the way, or even if they skip sections, and I've encountered that people, maybe just type in a sentence or two just to kind of be done with it, and then on with the next, because they really don't know what additional content or how to process their thought pattern into typing it up word wise. And then that's okay, because when the when they complete the program, they can generate that content, whether it's two sentences or structured paragraphs, and they can download that content, send the draft to me, I'll review it, and then I'll help them to fill in those blanks. So I would say for someone to approach Dream Builder, a business plan writing, especially if you're dealing with an interactive platform like Dream Builder that we offer, do not approach it
I
as
just
an
you mentioned dream builder, and I was going to ask that question, and I'm sure the streamers are probably saying, "What is a dream builder?" So
so
before you get into that explanation, which is perfect, just talk about that. That is one of the many services
yes.
that your organization provides. Just give a little description of what dream builder is. That's what I'm using right now, by the way.
Oh, excellent. So, pardon me for going off on a tangent.
Mhm.
So, just to back up a little bit with business plan development. As a former business owner, I went through training at a small business development center to help me with my business plan. We didn't have an interactive program or platform like our Dream Builder program. Um, I did it old school. It was stressful. I had a lot of anxiety. I didn't have a point of reference to write a business plan. So I would say if you are experiencing that, or you're frustrated and you have all this information, your vision here, but you can't convey it here, writing it out, please seek advice and support from SCORE, a SCORE mentor, from the small business development centers in your area, or from a women's business center, to get that expertise to help you along the way. Now, to transition into the great point that you made, Deborah, in reference to Dream Builder, it is it's a program where the women's business centers use. It is endorsed by the Small Business Administration. It removes the anxiety, the lack of a point of reference, a business plan writing of where do I start, how do I get this from here, to flowing into a document that's actually organized like a business plan. That's where Dream Builder comes into play. It checks all those boxes for you, and it helps you to produce content on your own pace, at your own level, because through it all, we are here to help you with that development.
Perfect,
Mhm,
perfect. And that, the dream builder, I think you explained it the last time that
mhm.
there's an avatar that walks you through it. So it's not like you have to view something boring or try to figure out it's complicated. Talk to me how that incentive helps people to really,
Yes.
enthusiastically write their business
Yes.
plan.
Oh yes, we really love Dream Builder because it's interactive, it's narrated, and it's animated by a character. And you're following her on her journey as she is um, creating her business plan step by step. It's 12 modules. Each session is basically you're looking at the character's example of how she is creating content for a business plan as it relates to her business model and a certain section in the business plan template. So each session is about 10 to 20 minutes long, kind of depending on your speed. And after you view the character's story for that particular section, then there's a quiz, which is just an overview of the footage you watched about the character. And then after the quiz, there's questions about your business idea. And now, based upon the character's example, now you understand how to answer these questions and what they mean. So you type in your answers to the questions about your business model, and all of your responses are then automatically or is placed in a business plan template. And when you complete the 12 sessions, you can download it and take that document or send that document to a business counselor to help with the revisions and the development of it. And Dream Builder, it's free. It's online. You work at your own pace, and it really is a dynamic tool. Yeah,
Awesome.
we're very proud of it.
Yeah, it is. It's very interesting, and it does take away sort of that, oh, I don't know if I can write my business plan because it's such a sophisticated model, etc. I'm just looking at your lower thirds, and I think your last name is Taylor, and I want to make
Oh,
sure. I just noticed that, but my guests are so excited to come on my show.
yes. Oh,
Yeah, they had to type in. I just want to make sure. So if they do see Kathleen, just to let them know it is Taylor. And let
yes.
me just show the big one. So we have it here.
Thank
Kathleen
you.
Taylor, program and marketing manager. That's what I wanted to say. Manager. Congratulations, by the way, of
Thank
the
you.
Nevada Women Business Center.
Thank
And
you.
their web address is https:// Nevada, NEVADAWBC.org /. So I just want to make sure that, that folks get
Thank you.
a chance to, to see that is your name.
Thank
And,
you. Sorry about that. It kind of looks, yeah, odd. Thailand.
but that's okay. I gotcha. As a
Thank
matter of
you.
fact, I'm going to put this here so people will. There you go. So we
Thank
have it.
you.
We have the correct name. Um, Now, I'm excited about it. I remember our one-on-one consultation, which again, I'm sharing with everybody. That was free. And you gave me so much detailed information. And I just want to let the streamers know that whether you're a male or female, that I've been dancing around, as I mentioned the last time, with starting a business, and it can be overwhelming.
Yes.
When I had that conversation with you and you showed me, the organizational patterns of what was on that website, girl, it just helped me out because it didn't make me feel like, okay, I got to get to Sam. I got to make sure I reserve my name. I don't want anybody else to have it. But it was just so user friendly.
Yes.
So to take us through that process, all right, someone gets on your website and the first thing that they see, because it was just so easy for me to understand. And I'm glad I went through that process because I can share with probably some of the questions that
Sure.
our streamers were having. So who thought that up? And wow, it's very effective.
Yes. I think what you're referring to is the guide to start a business in Nevada. And it's basically like a roadmap, and it takes a person like step by step, or a person can skip steps depending upon where they're at in their development, but it's like a one-stop shop of resources to help a person build their infrastructure to get what they need to start their business. It was created by the Nevada Department of Business and Industry, in addition to community organizations. So they invited our center director, Leanna Jenkins. This was before I came on board, if I'm not mistaken, or when I just got on board with the organization. And they were having these meetings with stakeholders, such as SCORE was at the table, our organization, uh, small business development centers as well, and or chambers of commerce as well, and other representatives. And they got together and they said, okay, this is what our clients are telling us, this is what the demand is. So they structured this one-stop shop of different resources to reserve your business name. Boom, this is who you go to get your state license, to get your local license, your tax EIN number, funding, marketing. I mean, just basically a very comprehensive list of how, if you access these resources, it can get you through the process of getting your business started, either free or at cost. And what I mean at cost is, if you go on Google and you do the online search of starting a business, you are hit with so many things. And not every company that comes up has your best interest in mind. They look at you as another paycheck, basically. And they may potentially charge you thousands of dollars to write your business plan for you. They'll charge you hundreds or thousands of dollars to get your business licensing or your business entity or tax ID number or DBA, all those things. So this particular resource guide, it's a downloadable PDF file. It's accessible online. It's on our website as well, on the resources page. You can Google it, Guide to Start a Business in Nevada, and it will populate, and you can download it on your mobile device or your computer. And that guide was created so that people can go to the sources that they need and pay just a flat fee of a business license in Nevada. Um, you can or contact an organization such as ours to help you with your business plan instead of paying out of pocket. So it was designed specifically to alleviate all of the chaos of an online search.
Yeah, and when you say chaos, it is chaos.
Yes.
In 2014, I actually was certified as a woman minority-owned business, and yes, yes, and I
Great.
have to thank the director, who was a very close friend, for helping me through it. But when I was going through the process, they said, okay, now you got to get the SAM number. Now you have to, and it was so over. If I did not have a good colleague or friend of mine to guide me through that process, I would have never become certified. Before I talk about certification, I'm not sure if that is an area that the Nevada Women's Business Center does, but I certainly, because I think I shared with you, I relocated from Boston to Nevada. And for my East Coast friends, or I should say my national friends, you gave some great information for women or men who are interested in going into business. Could you share those gems with us again?
Well, I'll try to recall. I may change it up a little bit. I would say, and this may be a different take, and being a former business owner, I would say, um, look at your strength, your strengths and your abilities and your capabilities within yourself. Um, it's not the question isn't whether or not you can start a business. The question is where you, if you have the wherewithal to really understand that you may potentially, not everyone is built the way I am. You may potentially be on 24/7. There will come a time when because you're working in the business, creating the operations, the processes, and the systems, and working on the business from an administration side, there may come a time when time management is critical. I had to block off blocks of time from myself to do A, B, and C in my personal life and my professional life. So really be aware that it's not for the faint of heart, and it's really critical to get the resources you need to help you develop along the way. Also, I would also say that don't quit your job. Uh, Try to don't quit your job. Try to start your business model kind of like that side hustle or hobby type of dynamic. And then when you actually see it, getting a lot of traction and revenue, then you can eventually perhaps transition into your business full time, and that it's generating revenue to sustain your lifestyle. Those are a couple things, and I please don't do this alone. It's a lot to take on, and I'd highly recommend to connect with resources in business development in your area.
That's awesome. And you did mention some resources for people who nationally, since we have this technology. Do you remember some? Because you gave, because one of my East Coast colleagues was saying, "What did she say?" I said, "Well, look at the tape and the caption." But you mentioned you
Yes.
mentioned some really great resources for
Mhm.
people, for women and men
Yeah.
nationally, how they can get started.
Oh, absolutely. So the beauty with the Women Business Center model, um, for the majority of within the majority of the country, there's a women's business center in each state or region. So if you are in Delaware or Maine or Massachusetts, New York, Ohio, Texas, Google Women's Business Center Texas, and hopefully there's a women business center there and you can access the same resources. We are a national organization, network of centers. Or Google Small Business Development Center, Connecticut, or in your city. And those locations will populate as well, and you can connect with them. The Small Business Development Centers, like our organization, we're part of the SBA too. So is SCORE. You can Google SCORE, um, Bronx, New York, and hopefully a chapter will pop up and you can access their resources because they're national as well. So you're going to be in good hands for sure.
Excellent, excellent. I just wanted to pop up your information for folks who, if they've just streamed in, you know how busy people are. Let me just get this ticker out of the way for a second. I'm still new with this, brand new.
It looks fantastic.
Thank you. But I'm working it. I'm working it.
Mhm.
But I wanted people, we're talking with Kathleen Taylor, who is the program and marketing manager of the Nevada Women's Business Center. And I'm just thrilled to have her back. And I certainly, oops, we didn't want to see that yet. You see what I mean?
That's
I
okay.
should have
It's fine.
shouldn't have I shouldn't have spoke too soon, because then all of a sudden whammo.
Well, that's okay. It makes it more authentic.
More interesting.
Yeah, and also with our Women's Business Center, we also have a lending arm to the behind me, the Nevada Business Opportunity Fund. We
Mhm.
do provide funding as well for startup and established businesses so that they can access capital as well in the form of small business loans.
Oh, wow. That is really, really great.
Thank
Um,
you.
I wanted to also take a moment,
Mhm.
make sure I can do this correctly. Oops, nope, I didn't do it. Come on now. Here we go. You're back. Yes. I wanted to take a moment to talk about your incentive, because the last time we spoke about you being in business, and I don't want to end the show without you sharing with our streamers exactly what was, you were in business. Talk to us about how you became who you are today,
Sure.
because you were a business owner as well.
Sure. Thank you so much. Well, it's kind of interesting. I grew up in a household. My father is a former business owner. I'm from Louisiana. I grew up on a farm. For those of you who like hot sauce, our farm basically was agriculture,
Wow.
and we produced Tabasco peppers that's used to make hot sauce. So I grew up in the fields of Louisiana. Gave me and my siblings a great work ethic, and at the same time of farming, my father was also a contractor as well. So he would pour cement foundations for commercial and residential projects. So I grew up watching him. I always wanted to go into business myself. Unfortunately, our father had other plans for me and my sisters. Our only choice was to go to college and major in either science or medicine. So I went into the sciences, um, established my career in scientific research and public health, got laid off during the recession in 2007, 2009. And when I got laid off, I was at the California Science Center having a great time. Um, and then when I got laid off, I looked at it as an opportunity to do what I always wanted to do, was to open up my own business, following my father's footsteps. So I reached out to a colleague of mine who owned a couple restaurants, and he told me he transitioned from being, a six-figure paid engineer into doing catering and cooking and opening two Jamaican restaurants because that was his passion. So he left his career in corporate, opened up his own catering, and eventually expanded into restaurants. He got his start at a small business development center for free. So that's where I went, to a small business development center for free, got the counseling that I needed, the education, business plan, and I opened up my firm. And uh, I basically made a bad situation of getting laid off into um, looking at that as an opportunity to launch my business. And I was so impressed with our counselors at the Small Business Development Center that I immediately formulated my exit strategy from my business, because I was like, I want to be on that side of the table after a
Mm.
while, because I see how important that piece is. Even though you may think you know what you want to do in business, they help you to fill in the gaps and for what you don't know, and enhance what you do know with additional support. So after about 5 years in business, I got an opportunity to come to work here at the Nevada Women's Business Center. So I made that transition to be on this side of the table as a former business owner, and being of service in this capacity. So
Wow. What
that's my
kind
story.
sorry to interrupt. What kind of firm? What kind of business did you have?
Yes, yes. So I did my market research. We have to remember that this was a recession. People were laid off. So I did my market research, and I created a niche market where my firm would come in and do work development training or leadership development training for the skeleton staff that remained after massive layoffs in a city government and corporations, because that skeleton staff had to step in and compensate for their other colleagues being laid off, and the work still had to be done. And they had additional responsibilities that they may not have been properly trained for. So my firm came in and provided that capacity building for that person to scale up their skill set to fill in those gaps that was left behind due to layoffs in the company. Did really well. I got a couple contracts with the city of Long Beach.
Mm.
I also pivoted as well and started working with small business development centers to help small business owners with capacity building. And I just basically kind of grew my brand. And a friend of mine said, "Hey, I hear that you are thinking about moving to Nevada. I know so and so there, and they're looking for someone at to fill in this position. Are you interested?" So I just let spirit, let the universe move me, and here I am.
Wow. Well, we're so glad that you are here. We are. And I actually thank you for that story. It's really very inspirational, especially for people who are working maybe in an organization as, or they were in business and they want to exit strategy. And they said, okay, it doesn't mean that I have to be in business forever. So that is really a really cool thing. I just wanted to take just a moment to let folks know that if you have an interest in watching more this particular program repeated, just go to Deborah Shariff on YouTube. And
Hey,
you will find, yes, thank goodness, yay, yay, I
great.
finally, had launched my YouTube channel
That's
because if anybody knows, it is really, it's a challenge to do all of these things.
sure.
It really is. So is there any parting? We're actually out of time, so I want to keep the half hour. I know you're busy. Is there any parting thoughts that you want to share with our streamers?
Yes, first of all, thank you so much, Deborah, for having me back on again. I really appreciate the opportunity. My parting thoughts would be to um keep striving and keep thriving, and to be strategic in your approach with your business. It's okay to be fierce, just be careful not to be foolish. And I would say a great combination that I use in my professional life and personal life would be to be strategically fierce. I don't jump in the fire, with this full, mindset of, guts or glory, go big or go broke or go big or go home. That's foolish. Be strategic, think about it, come up with a game plan, get the help that you need, and then execute it. That I would
Awesome.
say those are my parting words.
Yes, I love it. I love Don't be foolish. I hear you. Thank you so much, Kathleen Taylor. I so
Thank you.
appreciate your time and the information that you're
Thank you.
providing for our streamers. Thank you so much. And
Thank
thank
you.
everybody who streamed in on LinkedIn and Facebook. And we will see you next time at Success Talk with Deborah Shariff. Take care for now.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Awesome.